Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video, folks. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to earn gold in World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Classic. And as you can see, I am in Wintergrasp, and there's a good reason that I am here. Now, of course, I'm sure that there are many videos showing you how to get gold, and it'll involve professions and farming this, that, and the other, and doing dailies. But I've actually found quite a lucrative way of getting gold, and that is through fishing here in Wintergrasp. The reason I find this lucrative and the reason it works so well is because here you will find the muscleback sculpin fish. You will also find the glacial salmon and the nettlefish. All three of these are needed to create the fish feast. Now, the fish feast is actually quite expensive at the auction house. You can choose to create it, of course, if you want to do so, and you will need the northern spices for that, or you can just sell them because they are ingredients that are highly desirable for the fish feast. They do tend to sell for quite a bit. But on top of that, you will also find the giant dark water clams, and I'm going to show you what to do with them and why these are actually quite good to come across. Now, the first thing I want to show you here, of course, is what type of fish we get. And as you can see, for the most of it, we get the fish that I mentioned before, which is the muscleback sculpin, the glacial salmon, and the nettlefish. These are the three fish that drop in pretty much any body of water here in Wintergrasp. Now, occasionally you will get the giant dark water clam, which I will go over later in this video, and why you want to hold on to that. It is quite important because you can make quite a bit of money off of it. Now, what I like to do here is I like to start fishing, and I normally tend to spend quite some time here. And I know fishing is boring, and I can see why not many people want to do this, but I want to do it because it's lucrative. It is actually one of the professions that can generate quite a decent amount of gold because not many people have the patience to do it. And so my secret with it is I will put some music in the background and just enjoy the music, or we'll have a show that I'll be watching and one headphone on my ear, and I just listen to the sound of the bobble basically going up and down to indicate that I need to reel back the or pull back the or basically click on it is what I meant to say. So as you can see, I'll use stuff to make the wait more pleasurable, and it does work. And basically I tend to stay here until I almost fill my bags up. The reason I say almost is because I'll go and do something else. I'm going to show you another area that you want to go and farm, which is just as lucrative, and it also has to do with food. Also, whilst I'm here, I might as well show you this. So this is the fish feast right there, and this is what we are getting. Of course, the northern spices, you get them from the dailies. You can also buy the northern spices from the auction house. But as you can see, we're getting all three needed fish for preparing this feast. I believe on my server, a stack of 20 fish feast sells for around 500 gold. So as you can imagine, the raw materials for it will also be valuable, more so due to the fact that I suppose not many people have the patience to do this. And yeah, that's pretty much the secret. I'm going to show you exactly at the auction house what they sell for as well, so you can see it for yourself. Of course, prices may vary depending on the server that you're playing on, so do keep that in mind as well. Another thing that I do like to farm, and it is actually quite effective and lucrative, of course, is the woolly mammoths here in Borean Tundra. And of course, the mammoth calves are not spared as well. I know it sounds cruel and everything. At the end of the day, this is just a game. Just thought I'd point that out to all the mammoth lovers. But also, there is a good reason, actually two, if you think about it. I'm going to show you this right now after I finish with kind of killing these calves right here. Now, I do like to try and spread them about just because it's easier to loot them, but it's up to you how you want to do this. It's no biggie. What we're after is the chilled meat. Chilled meat is useful for the dailies, but most importantly is the chunk of mammoth. So this is an item that is used to create the pet foods, and they do sell for a decent price per stack. And there's plenty of mammoths that respawn really quickly, so you can get a bunch of this quite quickly, I'd say. Now, the downside to this is, of course, you will also get other types of drops, gray drops, green drops, and of course the garbo that comes off of them that you don't really need. But normally I try and get about 4 to 5 stacks of 20 and sell them on the auction house. So that kind of gives me a bit of variety in terms of what I sell at the auction house. So as you can see, these guys don't really hurt me too much. They're easy to farm. I'll go and grab these just for good measure. And as you can see, easy money in my opinion. Now, personally, I tend to hold on to the green drops and sell them off. Even though, I mean, anything that's over a gold, I tend to hold on to. If it's under gold, I just basically destroy it and make space for more chunks of old mammoth, to be honest, to put in my inventory. So as I said, I like to kind of gather 4 to 5 stacks. You can do even more if you want to, but basically the way I look at it is I don't want to overflood the auction house with too many of them. I want to have just enough so that I can sell them at a decent price and still make a good, nice amount of money. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're worth at the auction house. Now, do bear in mind, of course, as I said before, this is relevant to each individual server. Alright, here we are at the auction house. As you can see, I've already got about 5,000 in my current inventory. I do have one of these Threads of Destiny that I'm trying, or have been trying to sell. I will get about 3,000 gold for it, or maybe just under it. So that will put me quite high up. Now let's have a look at the fish feast. As you can see, one of them costs quite a fair amount. A stack of 5 is actually quite expensive. But let's go to a stack of 20 if that's the way you want to sell them. Let me just find that right here. Let's see if I was right, if I remember the price correctly. There we go. $4.99, $4.50 if you just want to bid on it. So, yeah, as you can see, that's 500 gold for that. Let me show you some other stuff as well. Let's have a look at the chunk of mammoth. So this is what I've currently got going from my previous fishing experiments, let's call it that, or fishing adventures. Let's try the chunk of mammoth. As you can see, they do sell for quite a decent amount, but let's look at the stacks of 20. That's about 25 gold, 24 gold per stack of 20. I've got 4 stacks. That's just under 100 gold right there. So I'm going to put these up, and then we're going to have a look at the fish that I've gathered. Now, do bear in mind that sometimes people do try and push the prices up. Now, generally speaking, a stack of the fish that I've got would sell for around the 50 gold mark. If there's nothing too low, I will try and be cheeky and put them at a high price. If not, I will re-auction them at a fairer, lower price. But generally speaking, the glacial salmon and the nettlefish tend to sell for around 50 gold a stack of 20. So we've got the glacial salmon right here. Seems like the prices are quite high and the server time is quite late, so that's well overpriced. Now I'm going to be cheeky and try and put them at, say, 98, 97-ish gold. I don't expect to sell all of them, but if I sell 1 or 2, that still brings me some extra gold. Because it's late on the server, what I'll do is I will auction them at a higher price, then come back in the morning, see what's sold, if anything's been sold. If not, re-auction them at a fairer price, because by then other people will have tried to severely undercut what I've put down as a price for these particular things. But that's the way it goes. I mean, it's still going to be quite a good amount of gold to be obtained. Now, we'll do this, and I'm going to show you the nettlefish as well, because these are the 2 most valuable types of fish by the looks of it. And of course, we've also got the muscleback sculpin as well. Normally on this server, it tends to sell for, I would say, a cheaper price. But let's have a look at the nettlefish right now. So as you can see, a stack of 20 sells for roughly around 150 gold. Again, massively overpriced. It's basically 3 times the price it normally is. But I'll be cheeky and give it a go. You never know. Someone might potentially buy them out. With the muscleback sculpin, what I tend to do is I tend to break them into stacks of 10 and try and make it look like I'm undercutting the market, but also find a middle price where I am undercutting the market, but I'm still selling them quite high. So what do you do with the giant dark water clam? Well, you just open them up, and as you can see, I've got 2 siren's tears, and what you can get from that is the succulent clams meat, the North Sea pearl, and the siren's tear. You can sell both the succulent clams meat and the North Sea pearls, but the siren's tear, as you can see, is actually quite expensive. Now, from my experience, from a stack of 20 or just over 20, you do tend to get about 2 of these. So again, that is more gold for us. Let's have a look at the succulent clam meat. There we are. You know, just over a gold per stack. Definitely a good thing to be selling as well. Not a lot, but every little counts. So that is pretty much it for this video, folks. That is how I make my gold, and I have basically over 10,000 gold spread across my characters from this method. I do hope that this video was useful and informative. If you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And of course, as always, until next time, stay safe, folks.